Hello, everybody. I'm Rick, and this is Two Brothers Outdoors. On our monthly podcast, we get asked the question, what mills should I buy, and how much can I expect to make if I buy a mill? So today, we're going to go across some of those things. You might as well pull up a chair and get comfortable. Most of our videos are not scripted, but today I got too many facts written down and it's going to be scripted. So the first thing we're going to cover is everybody wants to get into a mill as cheap as possible. I'm just going to give you a guideline of what I went by when I bought my first band mill. Now I have had a big commercial circle mill, so my experience in sawing was not zero. I had quite a bit of experience as a sawyer, but I never owned a band mill. I have a friend that lives down the road that has a band mill, and I watched him. I've helped him, and actually, when he's taken orders that were too big, I've actually helped him cut orders. And the band mill, in my opinion, was slow. But compared to a circle mill, it is slow. But my friend used to make the joke, when I cut a board, all you have to do is sand a little bit, it's good to go. Yours has to go through a planer. Also, he pointed out the fact that he doesn't lose a board until he cuts 8 or 9 boards because of saw curve. On the circle mill, every fourth board, I lost a board because I had a 1/4 inch kerf on that saw. Where my buddy was dealing with an 1/8 inch to a 1/16 inch kerf. Like I said, every 80 to 9 boards, he'd lose a board, but I was losing a 1 inch board on every fourth cut. Now, real quick, when I started researching mills, one of the most important things that came up in my mind, and I'll tell you why. I was getting ready to retire, and I wanted to get another sawmill. I sold the big sawmill business 20 years ago. So when I got ready to retire, I decided I wanted to get back into sawmilling to not only keep me busy and keep me in shape, but also to generate a little extra income for retirement. Now, here's the reason I went with the mill that I bought. Number one, I've done a lot of mechanical engineering in my life. I've been a technician forever. I've seen big, thick pieces of metal fail because they were bolted together. And they crack at the bolt holes due to stress and movement and harmonics and all kinds of stuff. So the first thing I wanted a sawmill that was all welded together. I wanted a welded frame. I wanted a welded track. I didn't want a bolt together mill and a bolt together track. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure they hold up forever. And if you're going to assemble a mill of your own, like order a mill and assemble it at home, I guess putting one together with a bunch of bolts is easier. I don't know. This mill came packaged up. I had to put the 3 pieces of track together, but the mill head itself was built. It was all packaged up on one. It was sitting on the rails, bolted down. And quite frankly, it took a big forklift to load it, and it took a big tractor to unload it. So, first thing was I wanted a mill head that was welded together. I wanted track that was welded together. The second thing that caught my attention was I went to my youngest son's house for Thanksgiving, and he just put in a countertop. And the countertop was over 24 inches wide, live edge on both sides. He was quite proud of it. And then he told me what he paid for it. That's what got me thinking about buying a mill. Anyway, I started looking at mills, and even though the mill could handle a 30-inch log or a 36-inch log, I'm talking about all these other mills I researched, the opening between the two guides was 22 to 24 inches. That was it. Now, if you're cutting a square board 24 inches, that would have worked fine. Most countertops are 24 inches wide. But if you want a flat surface 24 inches wide with live edge, you're going to have to cut wider than 24 inches. This particular mill will cut 33 inches wide, maybe a little bit more. If I take the outboard guide off, I can maybe get 35 inches wide out of it. So that was another factor in why I bought this mill. And then, of course, the last factor was the price. The price is always important. This mill was manufactured right here in New York State, and it's manufactured about 45 miles from my house. So I was able to take a ride up there to look at their mills, and they had some set up. And I was looking at them, and I could tell how well built they were, built right here, close to home in the United States. And anytime I need a part, they're 45 minutes up the road. And let me tell you, Hudson's support on their mills is one of the most fantastic companies I've ever dealt with. You call them, you can get on the phone with their engineer, you can get on the phone with their parts people, you can get on the phone with people that actually own sawmills and can help you troubleshoot any problems you're having with the mill. It's fantastic. We've become very good friends with Hudson, and they're just great people to deal with. All right, so most people want to get into this for $2,500. I could buy a mill from Harbor Freight for $22.95 or $2,200. And those mills will cut up to 20-inch log, 24-inch log. And there's a lot of mills out there, a lot of entry-level mills. Even Hudson has entry-level mills that are down in the $2,500, $3,000 range. But if you're going to buy a mill to set up in your backyard and you're a woodworker and you just want to cut wood for yourself, that mill will work fine. Any of these entry-level mills will work absolutely great for you. But if you're planning on supplementing your income, you're planning on going into business for yourself, or you're planning on going bigger than just for yourself, you're not going to find something that's going to get you motivated and going for $2,500, $3,000. Now, I like the Hudson mills because you can get into a big mill, big manual mill. They go all the way up to 36-inch. You can get into these mills for between $8,000 and $10,000. And then if your business starts to grow and you want to put a power head on it up and down, I actually think the newer ones now come with a power head that goes up and down electronically. But at any rate, you can add a power head to it. You can add power feed to it. The only thing that this mill doesn't have that you can add to it, which I'm sure they can add to it if the track was higher than ours, is a log roller. But I'm sure they do build in a hydraulic mill. They build a hydraulic mill that has the hydraulic log stops and hydraulic dogs and the log roller, power feed, the head, the whole 9 yards, and you operate it from a station behind the mill. If you want to spend the extra money, you can go that route. I think that they're quite reasonable in price compared to other mills for their fully hydraulic mill. But a mill like this, you can buy and get started and add the features to it that you need. And no matter how you mill, whether you have a fully hydraulic mill or you have a manual mill, it is hard labor. Just want you to know that up front. It's labor intensive. There's no two ways around it. Even if you're not handling the log on the mill, you're handling the log out here, loading it, getting it on the mill. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so real quick, let's just get into profit margins and what you can expect to make with your mill. Now, Tim and I are fortunate enough. We have a lot of property. We have a lot of trees on our property. We have a lot of trees that were damaged in previous logging operations 30 years ago. So we've been lucky enough to be able to just take out the damaged trees on our property, saw those trees up into useful lumber. And also, We have that green ash borer, emerald green ash beetle that's killing all the ash trees. So that is added also to our inventory of wood available. We're taking down some awful nice ash trees that have died from this beetle, and we're making really nice boards out of them. Now, our mainstay for our mill is not dimensional lumber. Somebody comes to us and says, hey, I want to build a shed. How much to build this shed? And they'll give me a build list. We do siding. We do dimensional lumber. I can work up a build list price for them, give it to them. They'll look at it. Well, it's a lot cheaper than Home Depot. And we get that business. Now, our mainstay is we supply crafters with hardwood. You go down to the big box stores to buy hardwood, it is intensely expensive. It is very expensive. So what we do is we can offer crafters wood with character. Everybody wants character. What character means is it's a very low grade log. So it's the cheapest log that you could buy if you were buying logs, probably firewood grade. And we're making pieces of wood out of it that crafters buy to make cutting boards, to make charcuterie boards, benches, chairs, tables, end tables, you know, the whole 9 yards. But that's our niche, and we do steaks as well, tomato steaks or garden steaks. We have to use the best logs for that. We charge a premium price for our steaks, which is still cheaper than the box store steaks, which are pine. Ours are hardwood. So we make out really well with what the niche that we found. But let's say you buy a mill and you have to buy your own logs. Now we get logs free most of the time. But let's say you have to buy logs. Right now, I'm only going with this area. This area right here is the market value of stuff that's going on right here. We have Amish that live 12 miles down the road. They have mills. They sell lumber. They buy logs. And they pretty much set the price of what lumber and logs are going for in this area. So if you're going to buy pine or hemlock or spruce, any kind of softwood logs that you make dimensional lumber out of, right now those logs are bringing between $300 and $400 a thousand board feet. So that works out to between 30 cents and 40 cents a board foot for your logs. And there's no way around that. That's just the way it goes. So let's say you get we're going to go with 1,000 board feet. Let's say you get an order for 2x6s. I need 1,000 board feet of 2x6s. That's how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to judge how much you're going to make. Now, I've already looked up at Home Depot. You can get a 2x6x8 for $9.45. And of course, that's not an actual 2x6x8, but it's 1.5 by 5.5 by 8. Ours are actually 2x4x8. Now, sometimes I could talk the customer into, because nails and screws are only 3.5 inches long, I could talk a customer into 1.5 inches thick. And a lot of times they'll go for that. And that gives us a little bonus on what we make. But I'm going to tell you right now, we get 85 cents a board foot for our dimensional lumber. That's the going price. That's the going rate in our area. So that would make a 2x6x8, $6.80. That's substantially cheaper than the $9.45 at Home Depot.